You're listening to Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Hello and welcome to the Mushie Moment with myself and my awesome co-host, Reverend Cindy. We're live today on Tuesday, August 15th, my dog Mika's 18th birthday.
Oh my goodness, happy birthday, Mika.
There'll be a video up later on my Facebook page of the little hat and the little blowy things, whoop, a little piece of, liver cake and a candle. Happy birthday to you. But we're coming to you live on paceradio.net, CBG TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Boxcast, which includes Roku and Fire Stick. Good day.
Good day.
Good day pre-birthday for Mika Day.
Well, no, it's Tuesday, which is her birthday. So happy actual birthday, Mika.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Yes.
Cheers. A little cacao.
Same. See?
What you had going on? What you been doing? I hear like you're driving across the country and doing exciting things.
Well, yeah. Exciting, I guess. Nerve-wracking to others, depending on how you want to look at it. Yeah, I'm driving across Canada. I am in southern Ontario right now. Stopped in Hamilton tonight. Then on to Peterborough tomorrow for a couple of nights. And then on to our friends, people that we both know there, just outside of Montreal.
All right.
Just before they head back, because of course they are on their way back for some visits.
Shout out to Andre and Joanne.
And how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. A little over a year and a half ago, I didn't think my dog was going to be alive in a few days, and here we are.
A lot of days later.
18. Happy birthday to her. Happy birthday to her. And honestly didn't know I was going to see the day happen. And it's a good day.
Well, I mean, I remember when she turned 17, like last year, you were so excited because you didn't think she'd see 17. Like you had all of this excitement last year because you thought that's it, and now here she is a year later, like a whole year later.
Oh, she'll be like 45 and I'll be like, I can't believe she's turning 45. Oh my God. Thanks to puppy power and Mika drops.
We buried Steve 2 years ago, but I'm sorry, that was so morbid, but yet funny. I apologize.
That was a crappy joke. Oh, sorry.
Your bad humor is rubbed off on me. I apologize. That's the story I'm keeping with right now.
So, hey, we're bringing back a guest that we previously had, which is kind of cool. Because we're kind of getting a little bit of a theme thing going where we kind of get a section of a part of where the chaos and the life happened. And then we get a part of more about them rather than the chaos. And I think that's kind of a cool thing. Because everybody has chaos. But
I like that we're taking a look at we're taking a look at addiction, how it affects the family as a whole. And then we're kind of expanding from there into what you're saying. Like, you know, like we took a look at how addiction was, how the addiction of her daughters was affecting her. But now we're going to take a look at her, so we understand the person that had to deal with that at the same time, because it all comes into play.
Yes.
It's all part of the story. And we're trying to get a story completely out there about a family, and of course, the whole family. So but today we're not interviewing you. We are interviewing Marnie. So we should bring her on and continue on with the interview.
I think that's a great idea. Hello, Marnie. Welcome.
Hello. Hello, and happy birthday, Mika.
Hang on, I'm going to get her. She's going to get mad. I'm waking her up. Hang on, baby girl. Come here, baby. Come here. Can you see her?
Oh, hi, baby. Hi.
Oh, Mika.
Oh, happy birthday.
I should have had the hat and everything ready to go for the podcast.
Yes.
Oh,
hello, baby.
Instagrammer.
Oh.
Okay, she's going down. Say bye. Bye, everybody.
Aw.
She just went like, wow.
Sorry, I'm just gonna shut the door. Sorry.
Yeah, she's like, you know, like, what the F, Dad? Like, I was comfortable.
Oh, yeah, I can't believe she's 18. Wow.
Yeah.
So
wow.
awesome.
Power of mushrooms.
Yeah.
And CBD.
Yeah. Yeah, because we actually started her on that way before the other stuff. So
it life changing. The whole works has just been life changing.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you know, I take her to the dog park and people ask questions and I meet people there, and man, there's some amazing stories. That friend of mine, Jerry, that I met there, that his dog had cancer behind its tail and cancer on its paw, and the big tumor. The cancer on the tail it's gone. It's nothing there. The cancer on the paw gone. The big tumor. Last night there was one of his friend's daughters there, and she was like, "Oh my God, look! It's getting smaller. It's getting smaller." Because he's putting the CBD on it. He's putting the cream over top of that so the dog won't lick it, and he's doing the mushroom stuff. You know, he already had a blend he was giving. He's just powered it up and empowering it up. I get to see how much magic it truly can create. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. But enough about that. Let's talk.
I was gonna say yes. Enough deflecting. Like, and I love how you're helping her, Steve. But enough of that. Steve, you had some good questions when we were talking about bringing back Marnie.
What were they?
Should have wrote it down.
Well, no, because basically the last podcast was a section of you being the girl's mom through that period of addiction. Yeah. But there's a story of Marnie that's long before that.
Yeah.
And you've got info that can help other people that are going through more than just the same as the addiction aspect of things.
So where should I start? Like, how far back you want to go?
As far back as you would like. It's like, I mean, this is we gave your daughters the chance to tell their story in their way, and what we want to gift to you is to tell your story in your way.
Okay.
So if you want to go back to the very beginning, we're good with that.
Well, like I'm from Ontario. I was living there till I was about 10. My parents separated and divorced. I was about 8 when my dad came out in 1978. So I'm lucky. I'm the youngest, so I was young. It didn't really affect me in any way, to be honest. It was love. So that's what I was taught, right? My brother and sister are a little older than me, so I don't know how it felt for them. I guess that'd be their story. But for me, it really was never a factor in my life. Besides the fact that, like, in high school, people would be calling names,
Yeah, it was
that
it
hurt,
was the 70s, so it was
yeah.
very
So
narrow
in the
and
80s,
close-minded.
even, so, but other than that, it was good. And then I did move out here when I was about 13 with my dad. Lived out here, went to high school. I guess I was about 19 and I met my first love. And we were together about 2.5 years. We had a son. He was born in May and he passed away in August. So he was 3 months and he passed away of SIDS. So it's coming up August 31st, was the 32 years ago now. He would have been 32. So he's my oldest. So this wasn't Steve's son. It was my first love, my first experience with anything like that. And, needless to say, it was pretty hard. We did try again a couple of times and I miscarried. It was just not meant to be, I guess. And eventually we broke up. The strain was pretty tough. As you can imagine, losing a child is, to me, the worst feeling in the world. Just the worst. And it took a long time. And even when I met Steve, like he made me laugh, in a time where I really needed it. And, I did fall in love with him and we were together for a while as well. And had all the kids, and which ended up leading to chaos. And like I said before, I feel like I don't blame anybody when you break up with someone. It takes two people. And I feel like we just, were meant to be together, and we just brought out the worst in each other, really. Because pretty much right away, once we separated, we managed to start getting along and just being there for the kids and just trying to do the best we could for them. And they would tell you they never heard us talk bad about each other. We never actually really fought. I don't think we even had another fight after that I can think of. So,
I can tell you that from hanging out with you guys before and after, like last week and then before this week, it's very obvious that you guys are very good friends.
Yeah. Well, it's not always easy, right? And some people they take it to the opposite. They go from love to hate, and I'm not somebody that hates, so it would take a lot for me to actually feel hate towards someone. So I may not like them much, but, and I pretty much wear everything on my face. Like I can't hide. I just can't hide how I'm feeling. So that you would know, but I don't feel like I want to give my energy to somebody that much. So, I
want to go back and like you kind of skimmed over everything. So now,
I know I was trying to not get too detailed.
But that leads me to a lot of questions, because
okay.
You've lived through a lot of stuff that some people see in the movies, and they or some people are going through it, or like I heard you talk about your father came out in 1978, so he was trying to live the life that he was supposed to live until the late 70s, when it was too much for him, and he said, no, I've got to be me, and God bless him for that, because that's hard.
He's a pioneer of it. He's a pioneer.
A very large pioneer. And of course, and then you skimmed over that, there was some bullies at school, but there's a lot of stuff that you dealt with in that, even though you said you were the youngest child, you dealt with, somebody coming out of the closet. And whether you're the person coming out of the closet, or you're the child thereof, or the parent thereof, or the sibling, or the cousin, or the friend, or the whatever, it's hard. Even today in 2023, people are very nervous when they are going to their parents or their loved ones or their employers or whatever. And you have a very beautiful attitude with that. Love is love, and that's fantastic. But you also had to endure some bullying, and it sounds to me like you skimmed over that. And
I wouldn't say more bullying. I would just say hearing it. Like it was constant. Like especially boys my age. They would say all those words, and at first, it just, for me, it was confusing because of the way I was brought up. So, from an early age, I think I was 8, I think it was probably sooner than that. But by the time I actually understood and realized it, it was more like 10. But, hearing that from people for years, until even when I got to high school, and that was probably the worst, just nobody knew, right? I had a few choice friends. Nobody really knew. People I trusted, and I was lucky to have those people in my life, and I still have a few of them. But, it's hearing people say stuff like that, knowing like, that's my dad, and he's not like that. He's not a pedophile. He doesn't like young boys. That's how bad it was back then. It's not just.
And that's most definitely bullying. That's
yeah.
That's a lot of trauma that people were
hear it right all the time, and going home and thinking, I love my dad, and it's just different. It's just not the way it's supposed to be, and God didn't make you that way. Well, I don't understand. God made you, so that's how you are. So I don't know. Yeah. But it was a tough thing for many years, for sure.
It would have been, yeah. So you were obviously very strong to get through that. That's pretty amazing. And you would definitely be an amazing advocate for friendly people. I've often I've often thought that I want to be one of those people. I want to get one of those T-shirts made. Maybe I'll do this next year. Because I was driving during Pride Month this year, if your family or friends have left you because you've come out, I'm your mom. I'm
I'll be your sister.
Whatever.
I'll be your mom.
Hug, right? So you strike me as somebody who would do that, something like really phenomenally well, right?
Yeah. I do have a few people in my life, and one of them was a friend of my dad's. He's a few years younger than me, and we've known each other. I think he was 20. I was like 22 or something. Well, no, because I think he knew Christopher, my son. So a long time. Over 30 years, and I consider him my brother. He's a great person. Always, So to me, I would adopt people like that. I mean, all the time. Just. People need each other now more than any time. It seems like, no one seems to care anymore. We need more caring. We need to care about each other.
In 78, you were how old?
I was 8.
8.
Yeah, I'm 50. I'm 53 now.
You're older than me. That'll make it easier for me to deal with. You're older than me. So from 8 until high school. So 7, 8, 9 years. You had to deal with that kind of trauma, and you still came out dealing with love, and that's amazing. I'm just kind of watching the time here too, but my gosh! And then, how old were you when you met your first love?
I was about 19, I guess. I want to say, 19.
So after high school.
It was after high school, right? It was like February, and I turned 19 in June. And I met him, and it was kind of he was romantic, and I was young, I just always wanted to have love in my life or something, that part. And that's when you're young, and especially girls, you feel that way. Right. So, and he swept me off my feet, and, it wasn't a bad relationship until the trauma happened. And then, it just exploded, for both of us. It was just too much to bear, I guess.
It is. That's a lot to deal with, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. I only have one child, and, I'm very thankful that, she's healthy. I haven't gone beyond that.
That's great. Yeah, that's so good.
I couldn't imagine. You didn't just deal with that. There was a couple of miscarriages, and I just It was just, I guess I wasn't meant to have just. It just all worked out how it was supposed to be. I mean, there's not much you can do about it. It was hard to deal with at the time. It was probably the only time in my life that I ever just wanted to die. I just. Really did. It was horrible. That first Christmas was
because to me, like I didn't know about it. I thought it was something that happened in the olden days that they didn't know what to call it. So like I had no idea what SIDS was, sudden infant death syndrome, how it worked, how everything went. So I did investigate. I went to some group meetings, because back then you actually had to go to the library, and and I went to some meetings where it was not just for SIDS, but all parents that had lost an infant. It did help in a way because it just seemed like everybody else's stories were so much worse. It was just awful, some of it. But you lean on people, and to me, the meetings were always the best healing for me, to talk to other people, and not just one-on-one to somebody I don't know. Like this was like a group of people that all feel the same way. So you understand each other, and so you can lean on them. But it was tough. It took a long time. And I had people say, oh, years later, they're like, aren't you over that? Like, how are you ever going to be over, that?
Yeah, that's forever. Thank you.
No, I have a saying that maybe he was just meant to be somewhere more important, and he's in a good place. God's taking care of him right now. So, he's not in pain. I mean, so it's definitely, there's parents that have kids that are, battling so many things that are painful. So he lived the best life, really. He had nothing but love, and fell asleep and didn't wake up. So, it wasn't a brutal, but it was brutal because it was so sudden and not something I ever thought would happen. So that was definitely the biggest trauma. Like, and I was 21. Yeah, I was 21. And it was pretty horrible. So, and we tried to get through it and everything. We actually went back to Ontario and went and saw my granddad and tried to get away from everything for a little bit, came back, and it was just, it was just so brutal. I had a couple miscarriages, and then it just, didn't work out. He had cheated. So it was like, okay, I'm out. So I left. And I think I was living with my dad. I think I moved in with my dad downtown again. And that's kind of when I met Steve. Not long after, really, after we broke up, I met Steve. And that whole thing happened. But I mean,
with a lot of strength. Like, I mean, like, I'm sitting here listening to you now, and you're my heart is breaking for the 21-year-old version of you, like, and if, of course, up until now, losing your son, but then I'm sitting here going, but listen to your strength.
Yeah.
Like, that's incredible. Like, I mean, if he served a purpose, he served to help you find your strength that you would have needed to help your girl.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, definitely.
So he's a guardian angel for his little sister.
Yes. And he has a stepbrother. So my ex, he married somebody else and had another baby. And so he has a stepbrother as well. So I feel like all of them are, he's watching out for them all. And definitely the girls 100%. Sometimes I believe that's why they're still alive, between them and the grandparents, but it's like I said, it's the hardest thing you could ever go through. I don't have a choice in a way to be strong, because otherwise, what are you going to do? You're just going to crumble. And I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forwards. And I don't think he'd want me to be that way. So, I try to let it bring out the best of me instead of the worst. And it's not always easy every day. Everyone has their moments, but and sometimes I think it feels like yesterday, and then sometimes it feels like a dream or someone else's life, because it's been a long time now. It's 32 years, but it's nothing. You talk to any parent and that's lost a child, and you'll know, like, doesn't matter how many years, you're still going to always feel that exact same way.
Yeah. Time freezes in that moment. There's a part that freezes in the heart. And it doesn't move forward.
And that's what makes it so hard with having our kids and not seeing them all. So, that's how it kind of started. And then to ricochet to all of this, it's like I was just not meant to be around any of my kids, and you think all kinds of things. But in the end, I just feel like that's just the way it is. And, that's the hardest part for me is there's not much you can do about it. So you just have to keep moving on and try to be closer with other people. Like, anyone that doesn't have a parent out there, I would totally take you under my wing because I miss that. I miss it every day. I think about it every single day. Yeah. It's hard not to,
You can have mine. Sorry,
yeah. No, I already share them. So, it's nice that my son's turned out. My youngest son has turned out well. I mean, he doesn't, he's not involved in the family, but at least I know I still, do talk to him occasionally, and he's doing really well. So that helps a little bit for sure.
What's your version of doing really well?
Well, he seems happy. He's in school. He's supporting himself. He's almost done. So he'll be getting his red seal. And, his little plan that he's always had is coming into effect. And it just makes me happy. Like, I just want people to be happy. And when I see, especially my child, happy, it fills my heart again because it gets drained every day by missing my kids. So when I hear from him and it's so funny because when I do talk to him, sometimes we'll talk for like an hour and it's just like we haven't missed a beat, but then I don't hear anything from him. So I have to constantly, if I want to talk to him, and that's a great thing for everyone to know. If you want to talk to somebody, it doesn't matter if they call you. If you really want that, then call them because you shouldn't wait around for someone to call you. It's ridiculous. I try to call my dad a couple times a week, my family and whatnot, but you got to try harder because you don't know when your time is up. So you want to make sure that you do everything possible to make it worth it, So yeah, when I hear from him, it's fantastic. It does. It makes me feel good. And I wish I could be part of his life and see him, but eventually, hopefully that'll happen. I think it will.
It will. It will.
I think it will.
We are getting to that halfway point.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's break time? It's time to check out our sponsors, pay some bills. You're here with us live on the Mushie Moment on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Boxcast, CBG TV, paceradio.net, and we'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Let's share Pace everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more stuff.
Oh, what happened there?
I'm not sure.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
Hello.
We're back and it ended a little bit early. Welcome back to the Mushie Moment, streaming live to you here at paceradio.net, cbgtv.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Boxcast, and on Roku and Fire Stick. Welcome back, Marnie. And
Hello.
Technical stuff, but we'll get through it.
Yeah, that was a Okay.
All right. So, where were we? I think it was right around when we got together.
Yeah. And now we know what really happened. No.
Yeah. We had a pretty up and down relationship. It was, the beginning was great, actually. Like I said, he helped me through a lot, honestly, and made me smile and laugh again. Because for some reason, I felt like I couldn't laugh or be happy. I felt like I had to just grieve, So when I met Steve, he was always really funny, right? So it was what attracted me the most, is just laughing. And that's all I really wanted to do.
Clowns.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. But yeah, it was more so once we had the girls, and then I got pregnant with my youngest, and that was tough. I worked till I was about 6 months pregnant with the girls, and I just couldn't do it anymore because I was big as a house, and I fainted on the bus. We lived in Kits, and it was great. I actually loved it there. I was really happy there. And then when we had our son, it was just so much. So we moved out to Delta. And for me, that's kind of where it went downhill. And I just hated it. I hated it so much. I was away from everyone. It just wasn't the same vibe. And, we kind of took it out on each other. And it was very stressful having three. And he was trying to work as much as he could. And, and meanwhile, I'm at home with the kids. And
2 hours.
Yeah. And then you have to drive back and forth, and it was horrible. We should have probably stayed in Kits, but woulda, shoulda, coulda. And so we would fight a lot, and I just.
And I wasn't good at hearing subtle messages back then.
No, I guess I wasn't good at putting the message out. I've learned to talk a lot more. It's taken me a while. I wouldn't say shy. I come from a family that is loud, and, to try and I'm of course the youngest by 5 years. My sister's 5 years older. It's hard to get a word in. So, I've just always sat back and listened, and I just don't have the energy to try and I yell people. So, and Steve's the same way. He's very much like my family, actually, that way. Not the angry part, but that loudness.
I had a bullshit angry part.
Yeah, he was pretty angry, and, we all have our own issues to deal with. I had still issues. losing my son, so it was tough for all of us. And, I look at it now, like, I'm just so grateful that we could move past it and be friends and help each other, I mean, he actually even lived with me for a little while. How many years ago was that? Maybe a few years now. And probably for I think it was 6 or 9 months. And people would talk. They're like, "Oh, you guys back together?" We're like, "No, he has a room across the hall." And although the one day I did put my song on his Marley, that was a funny day. But we just get along, and if we can help each other, we would. If it wasn't, I don't know what I would do.
We had the pets split up, so that way the pets were together. We had Doofus and Mika back together that way. Yeah, because they were at my house for quite a long time, and then when I moved out of the house, I couldn't really. You took Mika before I even decided to move, though, because she wasn't doing well, right? Like you said, it was bad. We actually had it scheduled to have someone come to our house and do it at my house, and I'm not sure what happened. You just said, no, we're not doing it, and I'm going to take her. So I was like, okay, if you want to try. And then I scheduled them to come to my house as well, but then she got up and walked to the door.
And then just, boom, and now look at her, right? So it was awesome. I miss her very much. I do. I need to come see her more because you don't know, right? I'm glad I came the other day, and I'd like to come more. Anytime I come to Richmond, I'm going to stop by for sure. But or come out and see my place. You need to come out and see my place, and then they can see each other.
Yeah, go and see.
I still have the cat, and he's 17 now. He's getting old.
Mika's little brother.
Yeah, they grew up together, right? So he does a lot of dog things. I seriously think he's a dog. Like, he'll come over and he'll lick my hand like a dog. I don't know why he does that. And then he's super cute, but yeah. So yeah, right around then, and then we split up. I actually had met someone else that I was with for a long time. Probably the longest relationship I've had, 8 years. And I really thought actually it would work out. I thought maybe we'd get married and even have a baby, like one more. But it just didn't. And he, didn't want to live together, didn't want to commit. So after all that time, I just couldn't do it anymore. So I just stopped. And, that was another tough one for me. Because, when you feel that way, you think in the future, and, that's how I've always thought was the future. So a lot of these things have taken me to now, and I don't think that way anymore. I just try to not think too much about the past and the good memories, and I don't think about the future as much. I try to live right now, and it's the hardest thing you could ever do. Like, it's tough. Like, I have to really work at it, but it's working right now. Like, I'm doing it, and it's so much better. You don't have disappointment and hurt. So you just enjoy each moment as it comes along. And if you're not enjoying it, exit stage left. Simple as that. Yeah. That's how I'm looking at it right now. But yeah, all those things have made me feel that way now. So it's, all the things you have to go through to teach you. It's all about teaching and learning, and you never stop learning. Yeah. There's always going to be bad things that happen. It's just how you deal with it. Everyone deals with things differently, but, what works for someone doesn't work for another. And, so yeah. And then, as the kids got older, it got tougher. And then that was the whole story we told last time. I still, it's so hard, for so long, it was just rescue mode. And if I were to ever, I try not to say I have regrets, but my biggest regret would be my youngest son. And I feel like he got a really shitty end of the stick because, with the girls, it was life or death situations, right? And it was tough and, broke your heart in half. And I just feel like he didn't get enough attention and more encouragement, I think more encouragement would have helped a lot. I tried my hardest, but it's hard to be like dying inside because of the way your kids are, and then not be affected by it and continue with your other child.
We could.
What's that?
We both did the best we could.
We did, but it is a regret I have.
That regret. Look how he's doing.
Yeah. Well, he was pretty independent to make it happen. So somehow we instilled that in him. But it's a regret. My other regret that I haven't talked about is my brother. When we were young, I think I was about 10, he decided to go into a foster home. So he left the family and ended up in Winnipeg, went to school there, university and everything, and disconnected, sort of like my youngest son now. But no contact for about 30 years. It was a long time. And Facebook came along and we connected again. And I've seen him. I just went to his wedding a couple years ago, and, he married a beautiful girl who I love, and I'm happy to see him happy, but I still feel disconnected, and it's, I don't know what it is. Maybe deep down, I feel like he left me or something, but I miss him. I think that's what it is. But, even going to Mexico for my dad's 80th and different things where I've been there around him. But I don't know. It's just, I guess I wish there was more of a relationship. I wish it could happen. And it affected me a lot in my life, not having him there. I'm lucky. I am close to my sister, very close, but, I never was able to be close to him. And I do remember being like close to him as a young person, right? Like, he was 7, right, when I was born. So by the time I was 7, he was already 14. And, I don't know what his story is and what he remembers, because he's got a good memory, but I didn't see anything. So I just felt loved. I'm very lucky. Both my parents showed me love. It was never bad, really. I mean, just the fact that my dad's gay, yes, it wasn't bad. It was hard hearing all that stuff, but he showed me a lot of love, he wasn't always affectionate, but there was certain things he would do to show it. Right. So as he got older, he got more affectionate, but there was always like, I'd go see him, I hug him right away, and we hug goodbye, and he doesn't say goodbye. He says, so long. He won't say goodbye. He's 85 now. He's still doing really good. So I feel blessed. Yeah. My mom, unfortunately, passed away in 2014. Another trauma. And unfortunately, I wasn't there. She was in Calgary. And that was another hard year because my dad had a triple bypass the day before. And then I was at the hospital with him all day and, went home finally later that night after he came to, because I promised him I'd be there when he woke up. And so I went home, went to work the next day. And then my sister's like, you got to come right now. So I'm on the next flight to Calgary. And as I was flying over, she passed. And so I went from basically St. Paul's to the Calgary hospital and said goodbye to my mom. And I hadn't seen her since like the November before, and this was June. So it was really hard for me. That was just like second to my son, for sure. Just tough. My mom was, she was positive. When I told her Jessie was pregnant, for instance, she's like, well, how could having a baby be bad? And like, she was so happy because that's the only great grandchild she ever saw. So, but I could tell her anything. She wouldn't tell anyone. You know what I mean? I could just always be totally open with her. And I miss that so much. Like, I miss her every day. I think about my mom. I got a tattoo of a hummingbird for her. So, my first tattoo. Yeah. So, that's another thing that was really hard in my life. But, it does make you strong. because you don't really have a choice. You don't. I'm not one to back away. I'm very determined to overcome. So, and the most important thing is to help other people. That's how I feel right now. To help anybody that, that's lost a child, especially to SIDS, or with kids with an addiction.
You haven't told people, but I know you did a lot of research on SIDS. You were researching right through till a few years ago when they said they figured out they might have figured out the cause.
Yeah. So it's just, and now they're getting to a point where they might be able to test. So, and find out. To be honest, I can't remember. I should have written it down. I can't remember offhand, but it's something to do with the brain. And because when they did the autopsy for my son, he was perfect. There was nothing wrong, nothing. So basically he just stopped breathing. So you just don't know, right? You're constantly, in the beginning, you're thinking, oh, was it the blanket I put in there? Was it the way I put him? Was it, what did I do? Right? You constantly blame yourself for thinking that it was something you did. I did that for a long time. It took me a long time to let that go. And pretty much until they came out with that, I still had that little tiny bit in there that thought, are they ever going to come out? Because that's the hardest part. It's not like any other disease. Okay, that's what they have, right? This is like, we don't know. We don't know why. They just die. They just stop breathing, and that's the way it goes. So to have them come out with all the, finally after everything, was kind of a relief, and if it can help other people die, like hopefully this can stop, because I don't wish this on anyone. It's horrible. It's, it's different when they're young like that, because you just aren't expecting you have this thing planned out, like, oh, we're going to have our first Christmas and first birthday, and they'll start school, and you think all these things, and it's just, everything stops, and you're like, it's almost where you can't even comprehend it. There's lots of times where I felt like I was going to go completely crazy, and I'd always find someone to talk to. I talked to my mom a lot. My dad was really good in the beginning as well. After a while, people tend to stop. I don't know. I guess because it's such a downer, nobody really wants to talk about it. And that sometimes bothers me, because I like talking about him. He was starting to laugh and, just all the happy things. Why can't I talk about that? I'm sorry that makes you sad, but I like to talk about it, I don't know if other people feel that way. Some people just erase the whole memory of it, but I have pictures of him. I always told the kids, they always knew about it. It wasn't a secret or anything like that. It happened. So, but to be able to help other people.
I like how you explained his life. Like, it was sadly short, but he had 3 very happy months with you, where he knew nothing but love.
Love. Yeah.
Yeah. I truly believe that, because, especially when a mother with their baby, you're, the first one, you're doting, you're constantly like, checking and making sure, and just, cuddling, and it's the best feeling in the world, right? To me. So to have that cut short, yes. But he didn't feel anything but love, really, so that's how you have to look at it. And that's the thing with things that happen in your life. It's how you look at it, because yes, you can look at it in the worst way possible, but that's just going to make you feel worse. If you try to be positive about it, and it's hard, it's a struggle. Some days I have better days than others, it is few and far between now, because time does help. But I still think about it, and even in because he passed away in the early morning, sometimes once in a while I'll have a dream and I wake up and I'm there for half a second or something. And it's like, whoa, okay. Nope. And we're back to life. But yeah, so it's kind of weird, that used to happen a lot, but not so much anymore. Because now, I'm thinking about the kids I have that are here on the earth, and you're for a long time you're always waiting for that call, and So now I'm waiting for it as opposed to it happening suddenly. So it's kind of blows your mind a little bit, and it's hard to deal with. You're just like, and it's not great on trying to be in relationships, because it's very sad. And for someone to come into your life and all this has happened, it's not an easy thing,
And the chaos is still kind of happening.
Yeah,
So
it's always
we're
drama.
finding our calm in it, but the chaos is still around us, and other people notice.
So it kind of takes somebody special to come into your life to put up with all that. So, and the funny thing is, it's not even about me. It's just my life, right? I mean, what can you do, right? It's the deal you're dealt. So. But yeah, so, now I just, like I said, I try to not think about all of that and just embrace each day. And, I just pray that they get the help they need. And, maybe someday it'll be a little bit better. But
well, and you and I both try to lead by example.
We do, yeah. And I truly believe that, like, especially there's a lot of parents that do the parent alienation, and it really bothers me. Like, it makes me angry because it's selfish and it's not helping your child. So you got to suck it up. You chose. So, this is the part that I always don't understand. Like, you chose to marry that person and have kids. Now you're saying they're this or that. Well, so you're saying that you didn't make the right choices. That's on you, not on your child. So, you can at least try. I wish people would try more, because it's affecting all of our kids, because so many people are divorced now. And look at the generation that's coming up now because of it. So,
21 to 27, most addicted out there pretty much ever. This time frame of our lives right now.
Well, and I think a lot of that comes from broken parents. Like, I don't want to blame it on that, because there's all different factors, but it doesn't help. I do think that that's a big reason why our girls are still here. They are the way they are, is because of us and our relationship. If we hated each other, like, it could have been a whole different scenario. You know what I mean? So, that's something that I really like to say out there. Just try your best to not speak bad about the other person, because they'll grow up. I used to think this in my head. If Steve would say something, I'd be like, in my head, I'd be like, oh my God, what an idiot. That's why I didn't want to be married to you, honestly. And then I would think, nope, they'll find out eventually on their own. They're going to figure it all out. I don't need to say anything. I don't. Yep. And that goes for a lot of things. Think it in your head. Think whatever you want. Nobody can tell you that, but you don't need to say it. All it does is hurt everyone. So it hasn't been that many times that you've done that, but a few times with Jaden, or with our son. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, it just came out. I don't want to say his name, but anyway, you were hard on him, very hard on him. And maybe, there's reasons behind that because of the girls and what we had to deal with them, and just trying not to get him in that position. But,
well, it depends on what you call hard on somebody, because he got treated extra special in other ways.
He did. Yeah.
Right.
He did.
I didn't buy the girls a car. I didn't pay their insurance for a year.
True.
I invested where I could there, because I knew he had the skills to do okay with that.
I don't think it's so much that. I think it's more the time, just hanging out together, that kind of thing. Like, it's not like what you do for someone. It's the time you spend with someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
there was no time, because I was out on the strip for 15 hours a day trying to make sure the girls didn't die.
And that's the unfortunate part. But, like you say,
all excuses on my part. I should have invested more time into it. I know that. I should have, woulda, coulda, but I didn't know any better.
And you can't
now
go
I
back.
do. So, in the future, if he chooses to rekindle the relationship, then he'll meet a different me, and he'll get a different form of love. If he chooses not to, And that's okay as well.
It's definitely something I've always wanted because, you did have a good relationship. He actually, at one point, his grad year, decided to go live with Steve full time. So I was devastated in the beginning, but I understood. I was good. I thought I was pretty good about it. I was hurt. I tried to keep it inside, but it devastated me. But I kind of understood. He was just tired of the girl's whole thing. And so I thought when he graduated, because he didn't live with me for like a year, I took him to Mexico, and he had a great time for his grad, and he was 18. And, it was a great memory for us, I like to say. And my dad was there as well. So he got to spend time with my dad. And, but now I don't know, like, it's hard. You don't know what. You try to do the best you can, and that's all you can do. And like you say, hopefully things change, but if not, you have to, it sounds selfish. And I know I said this the last time and I felt like it was really selfish, but I do feel like it's time to think about myself right now. My whole life has always been about other people, trying to make other people happy. And really happiness comes from inside. So if you're not happy, how are you going to make other people happy? So, that's what I'm trying to deal with right now. And it's actually been really good for me.
Part of making yourself happy is, I've got to break in here and I've got to say something really quick, and then we've got to move to closing, sadly.
Yep.
But part of being happy is you've moved towards a more nutritious diet. Like, you've added natural stuff into your diet, mushrooms, cannabis, you use natural pain meds, et cetera, which is, where what this show is all about. And what
I don't take any pharmaceuticals, none.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fantastic. And now we're at that time that I have to say, it's been fantastic to have you back.
It's been great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, to let my story out just a bit. And it's definitely out of my comfort zone, but I feel good about it. I want to help other people. Yeah. That's my message. So
good. Nice. And I'm pretty sure that I believe exponentially over time, these podcasts are going to help a lot of people, because the girl's story already got ridiculously famous. And it was edited. Now they've had their chance to speak theirs. And people were always asking, where are their parents through this? Where are their parents? Well, now they get to find out where their parents were through this. Their parents were loving them and struggling and doing the best.
I don't want to be a star. I just want to help people. I don't need to have my face plastered everywhere.
So we are now...
Okay, it's that time again. Thank you for joining us here on the Mushie Moment with my co-host, Cindy, myself, and our awesome guest, Marnie. We're proud to be coming to you live from paceradio.net, cbgtv.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Foxcast, Roku, and Firestick. We'll see you next week with more exciting guests and more exciting information. Much love, everybody. Bye, Mark. See you
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.